Welcome to the Burnout Recovery Podcast, a guiding resource dedicated to healthcare professionals on their journey to overcoming burnout. Spearheaded by Dr. Jo Braid, a certified professional coach and rehabilitation physician.
Welcome back to the Burnout Recovery Podcast. I am so glad you're joining me today as we explore an essential truth about healing from burnout. Recovery is truly a marathon, not a sprint. If you're feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or wondering if you'll ever feel like yourself again, I want you to know something important. You're exactly where you need to be right now. There's a lot of workplace change that needs to happen as well, and it is certainly not only the individual to do any work around changing recovery from burnout, but today I've got some definitely individual approaches that you might like to start now rather than waiting for more things or some things to change in your workplace. Because really the journey out of burnout isn't about quick fixes or overnight transformations. It's about patient, consistent progress that builds sustainable change over time. Today, we'll explore why the marathon mindset matters in burnout recovery and practical strategies across the 4 pillars I often reference. These are mindset, movement, sleep, and support. And these will help you take those steady steps forward. So why does recovery take time? When we're suffering in burnout, we often desperately want immediate relief. And this makes perfect sense. Burnout's a pretty uncomfortable place to be. But approaching recovery with a sprint mentality can actually set us back. So let's just check in with real marathon runners in this episode here. I am not a marathon runner. I have run a few half marathons, but essentially they don't start by running over 40 Ks or 26.2 miles on day one. They build their endurance gradually, they respect their body's limits and understand that sustainable progress requires patience. And the same principles apply to burnout recovery. As Joshua Budge from the University of Waterloo Engineering Wellness Program writes, working your hardest is not the same as doing your best. And this insight is profound. When recovering from burnout, pushing yourself to work as hard as possible at getting better can actually be counterproductive. Instead, pacing yourself and finding a sustainable rhythm is what truly constitutes your best effort. So let's start with the first pillar, the mindset pillar, embracing the marathon perspective. The first step in a marathon-style recovery is shifting your mindset. And here's 3 examples of how you might do that. Firstly, practice self-compassion. It takes practice. It's often a different way of how we talk to ourselves. And recognizing that recovery takes time, and that is completely normal. Would you criticize someone else for not recovering from burnout in a week? Give yourself the same kindness. Secondly, celebrating small wins. In a marathon, every mile marker matters. Similarly, acknowledge your progress, no matter how small. Did you set one boundary today? Take a short walk? These are victories definitely worth celebrating. And third, adopt a growth perspective. View your setbacks as information, not failure. If you have a difficult day, ask, what can I learn from this? Rather than, why am I failing at recovery? Can you see the difference? The second pillar we've got is the movement pillar with real sustainable physical practices. Physical movement is crucial for burnout recovery, but again, the marathon approach means being strategic. So start where you are. If you're deeply exhausted, gentle movement like a 5-minute walk or some stretching might be your starting point, and that's great. Build your consistency before intensity. So it's better to do 10 minutes of gentle yoga 3 times a week consistently than to push through a really intense, high-intensity workout once and then need 3 days to recover. We're rebuilding your batteries. We're getting more in the tank on a day-by-day basis rather than blowing all that energy and taking days to recover. And thirdly, listen to your body. So your energy levels may fluctuate during recovery. Some days you might have more capacity for movement, other days less. And this responsiveness, this great self-awareness, that internal self-awareness is part of the marathon mindset. The next pillar is the sleep pillar, building restorative rest habits. And boy, did I used to struggle with that idea that having rest can be productive. Well, what have I got to show for that? How can rest be a productive thing? And that might be common amongst many of the listeners to this podcast as well. Quality sleep is really essential for burnout recovery, but improving sleep patterns takes time. So how's your wind down ritual? Even 5 minutes of deliberate relaxation before bed can begin to shift your sleep patterns, and then look to extend this time as you're able. I did a yoga nidra this afternoon, so that's 10 minutes lying down, listening to a guided meditation. This is one of my favorite things to do, and I find they are so restorative. I just get like a second wind for the next 6 hours or however long in the day. Those kind of things can be so great in a sort of top up if you're finding your duration of sleep through the night is tough. Address sleep one component at a time. So rather than trying to overhaul your entire sleep routine at once, focus on one aspect. Perhaps that is a consistent bedtime. Perhaps it's 20 to 30 minutes of screen time being off before you go to bed, or creating a cooler and calmer sleep environment. And then track patterns, not perfection. So notice what helps your sleep improve over time rather than expecting perfect sleep immediately. The trend matters more than any single night. And the final pillar is the support pillar, building your marathon support team. And no marathoner succeeds alone, and neither will you in burnout recovery. So start with one trusted ally. Rather than feeling you need to explain your burnout to everyone, begin with one person who can provide understanding and support. Expand your support strategically and gradually build your support network with people who understand the marathon nature of recovery and won't push you to just get over it. And thirdly, consider professional guidance. A therapist, a coach, or a healthcare provider experienced in burnout can help you pace your recovery appropriately. So let's bring these pillars together with some practical approaches for a marathon-minded recovery strategy. Firstly, create sustainable daily practice. So choose one small action from each pillar that feels doable even on your hardest days. Perhaps that's a 2-minute mindfulness practice, a short walk, a consistent bedtime, and a brief check-in with a supportive friend. Secondly, use the 1% improvement approach. Rather than seeking dramatic change, aim to improve your well-being by just 1% each day or week. And these small gains compound powerfully over time. Third, implement the minimum effective dose. Identify the smallest amount of effort that produces positive results in each recovery area, and this prevents that exhaustion that can come from overcommitment. And fourthly, plan for rest stops. Marathon runners know that proper pacing includes strategic rest, and build deliberate recovery periods into your burnout healing journey. So in conclusion, for your unique marathon, I want to emphasize that your burnout recovery marathon has its own unique course. The pace that works for someone else might not be right for you, and that's completely okay. What matters most is that you're moving forward consistently in a way that's sustainable for your unique circumstances. Some days you might take bigger strides, other days smaller steps, and some days you might need to rest. All of these are really valid parts of the journey. Remember, in a marathon, finishing strong matters more than starting fast. My youngest 2 sons are training for cross-country races at the moment, and they love this. They're really happy doing a 2 or 3K run, or even a 5K park run, and they've got their jam that they don't get out at the starting gates really fast. They just go steady and go long. And really, by embracing the marathon mindset a little bit longer than 3Ks, you're setting yourself up for lasting recovery rather than temporary relief followed by relapse. So you have everything you need to take the next small step on your recovery journey, and I'll be here supporting you every step of the way. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, celebrate your progress, and remember, you're not just recovering, you're rebuilding a sustainable life beyond burnout. If you're curious about having a Power Hour burnout strategy session with me, I will have some openings starting from early to mid-June. So you can hop on my website and that will link you to get in my schedule and book a really powerful 1-hour session with me where I will guide you through the Power Hour method that I use with my clients in these strategy sessions. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you want to share it with a friend, that would be amazing. Take care. Thanks for listening to this episode. Schedule a 60-minute Power Hour with me and leave with relief, decisions made, and clear next steps. Or send me an email for a speaking inquiry. All information is available at drjobraid.com with links in the show notes.